I remember I was at Fox News once because I was shooting a sketch with Greg. What's his name?
Giraldo?
No, Greg. The Fox News. He's got a funny talk show. Gutfeld. This was when he was just sort of didn't have the Gutfeld show. I think it was Red Eye. But he let us shoot a thing where it was a sketch for my show. It was like a scene for my show where I'm debating with a woman who's against masturbation, and I'm the guy on pro masturbation, and he was the moderator, and we had this like TV news thing. It was a silly episode of my show, and anyway, so I got to go to the studios to shoot it, and Gutfeld was really cool. I like him; he's a good guy.
He's a nice guy.
And so I sat in they didn't have the place for us yet, and they let me. I asked if I could go in a control room, and they're like, okay. And I sat in this control room because I love television. I love being behind the scenes, and the president was making a speech. It was Obama. He's making a speech, and I was in the live in the room, the Fox News room, watching them do their thing. And Bill O'Reilly's on this camera having his hair done. And this guy's over here looking at, and a girl's she's getting makeup. Everybody's getting ready. The president is in the corner and the sound's off. Nobody's listening to the president. He's giving a speech and they're just going, Alex, what do you got, Alex? And Alex is like, did you get the fucking guy? Everybody's cursing and trying to line up guests for interviews. And it was fascinating to watch. And the second the president is done, they go to whoever, not Alex Jones. What am I talking about? The guy who was the big Fox News guys back then. Bill O'Reilly. Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
They go to Bill O'Reilly and he goes, well, this is just the president doing the same. Like, he wasn't listening. Nobody listened to the speech. They just go, this is just bullshit. We don't believe it. And then this guy and this guy. And I saw how fast, and they were so urgent. It was so urgent that they get in right away. And I know that the same things happen in MSNBC and CNN. They're not thinking about anything. They already know their reaction.
Yeah.
And they got to come in with it really quick because it's got to get in here before anything else. It's got to, so nobody listens to, if there was like a thing where you need to take a day after his speech, you have to read it, you have to watch it and discuss it with a staff and then make a decision, make a speech, an opinion. The opinion would be like, he's got points and blah, blah. You know what I mean? It would definitely be, and it would move the ball forward and it would get people to hear each other more. But there's such a need because it's entertainment.
Yeah. You have to be there right away with a rebuttal.
Yeah.
Well, what it is like it's entertainment disguised as news for minimally engaged casual viewers.
Yeah.
Because it's not really people that are completely locked in for the most part.
Not into it, no.
Most people are just flipping through the channels and something outrageous like, what I think he's doing is bad for America. Oh, bad for America? What is he doing? And then you'll tune in. But if they don't say that, you're not going to pay attention, and then they're going to lose out on that Pfizer dollars that's going to come during the ad break.
If you say what you really think, it would be like, well, we'll see. Yeah. It should be fine. In other ways, it won't be, but it'll be. Nobody wants to watch that. So.
Well, because of the format, it's just a trick to get you to watch a commercial for Colgate. It's just a trick.
Well, that's the old days. That's the old days.
It is now, too.
Yeah.
Like, if they can't get you to stick around and wait for the commercials, they don't make any money.
No.
Like, the whole deal is they have to be engaging enough to get you locked in so you can see that Toyota truck commercial. And if they don't make the money.
No, that's the same with the little videos, too. Like, have you ever seen, back when there was police shooting videos, black people that were coming up a lot, some news organization would get it. It would be theirs. And you go on YouTube to watch it, and there's an ad. So it's like Snapple.
Yep.
The guy gets beat up, and then Snapple again at the end.
Yeah. And they make money off that.
Snapple is like...
Yeah. So strange. The news is so bizarre.
The
format's so bizarre.
We get what we want from it, though, because everybody likes to be entertained by news. So if there was... It's like drug use. If there isn't the user, then the dealer goes broke.
It's way less popular than it's ever been in human history. Like in the history of television news, the news, like the evening news and CNN, those things, are less popular than they've ever been, ever. And it's because people are tired of it. It's a shitty format. And in comparison to long-form discussions like independent interview shows, like, there's so many different political shows now and podcasts where people have nuanced perspectives. And if you really want to understand what's going on in the world, like complicated issues, like the invasion of Ukraine by Russia, like you need people to break it down to you, and they're not going to get it in 5 minutes.
No.
You're going to get, they hate us for our freedom. That's what you're going to get in 5 minutes. You're going to get nonsense talking points.
No, I remember when I grew up, like Walter Cronkite was still on the air somewhere. I remember he was on CBS, I think. My earliest news memory was when Apollo and Soyuz, the two, the Russian and the American capsule, docked in mid-space. There was something where they were both up there once and they ran into each other and saw each other from the window and kind of got close and thought, hey, what if we could meet? So they went back and they fashioned a dock. This is like in the early 70s or mid-70s. And they went up and they docked and then they hung out and drank vodka. Anyway, it was during the Cold War. It was a big deal. And I remember Walter Cronkite, I think this is what I remember. I could be wrong. But Walter Cronkite saying, if you live in the northeast of the United States, if you go outside tonight, if you look up, you'll see a red light and a white light blinking next to each other, and that's them in orbit. And I went up and I fucking saw it, and it blew my mind.
Wow.
And the way he said it with a little bit of a smirk, like, isn't that cool? Because he was very stoic. But there was a thing back then where there was just him and David Brinkley. There was a couple of news organizations, and then like PBS. And you kind of got a sense that they were on it, and also that it wasn't fun. They had ethics, that they took years of training in college and school to get through, and a system of a hierarchy of whatever internships, and that by the time you were running the network news, you were a serious person that took it seriously.
Yes.
You know? And I remember maybe in the mid '80s when I started to hear this sound from the news, that I thought, what are you doing? And then sometimes it sounded like this.
Right.
And they're saying, and it's like, what are you fucking, I could hear the bullshit.
Yeah.
And I knew that they were, but back then they were just trying to make it sound interesting when it wasn't. They didn't start having this opinion thing yet, you know?
Right.
But it became a show, and now it's a show about opinions. It's entertainment, and like any other entertainment organization in America, they ran it way past the finish. They went way past it. Nobody likes it anymore, and they're running it to the ground. They can't they don't know when to stop.
Yeah. Well, that's the train they're on, right? Do you think Fox started it? Was it Fox that started this like aggressive sort of opinion version of the news? Were they the first, and then everybody else sort of had to respond to it?
Maybe, I don't know.
Fox is the first
I'm an
to
idiot.
put
I don't know that.
hot ladies in short skirts.